I wish somebody could take me back and be like, I'd have so much money today.
Gosh, okay.
Yeah.
So, how long are you at EABL for?
For about 2 years, 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've actually never spoken about this, but
Okay.
I had a huge career crisis in my 20s, existential career crisis.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, as soon as I started working, I just couldn't believe that this was what
Working
is. And I felt so out of place. I just felt like I wasn't doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
I thought marketing would require more of me creatively.
Mm-hmm.
I yearned to be doing things that took more out of me, rather than creating brand strategies and helping execute these strategies with an agency who is actually doing the creative stuff. But I had no desire to get into the agency world because everybody at that time was trying to get into the client side, I was a bit directionless. So my mentor, who is still my mentor today, and she was my boss at ABL, she, we used to talk quite a bit. And she's like, babes, what you need to do, you're creative. So maybe you should go to agency. I'm like, I'm not going to agency. What do you want to do? Da, 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 da. Long story short, I decided I want to go do my master's degree. But truth be told, I didn't care for the master's degree. I just needed time to figure out why I'm having this feeling inside me. Because throughout my life, I never ever felt like I needed to rebel from the system and to be like, I don't like this. It was once I got out of school and I was like, this cannot be my life. Like, this is it. And I remember even thinking, you mean to drive that car? My mentor used to drive a nice car. I was like, you mean to drive that car? This is the work, the typing emails, best regards, da da da. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I knew I had other desires and other interests in life, but I had never packaged them. They were not packageable into a career.
Yeah.
You understand? So I never knew what next.
Yeah.
And I was in this state for a very long time, and it troubled me deeply.
Yeah.
And so when I decided to go do my master's, that gave me some time where I could be in limbo before now you fly out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to go from Jobo to do my master's.
Then.
So at that point, I resigned because I knew I'm leaving to go do my master's. And I didn't want to have a blank on my resume. But then I also joined a band. So my mentor used to be in the Tasker team. And so she managed TPF, Tasker Project Fame. And through TPF, she met a bunch of producers, music producers, da-da-da. And so she introduced me to Timothy Rimbui. Has he been here?
He hasn't.
He needs to be here. So she introduces me to Tim, and Tim is a music producer. He used to... Yeah. What was his name those days? Innovator.
Yeah.
And I loved the album he produced with, what's her name? Carol Atemi. I loved the album he produced with Pam from the group. What were they called? Asubuhi Naamka.
Is it
Sema?
I know who you're
Sema,
talking about.
with Sanaipe.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I loved Pam's music, and I knew, you would see innovator, producer. Those days we used to watch music videos on TV, like on KTN.
On
so they'll tell you the title of the song, the name of the artist, the producer. So I always used to see innovator. And I'm like, who's this innovator? Anyway, so Caroline Kendi was my mentor. She's like, go talk to Tim. I'm still working in breweries at the time.
Yeah.
And he's like, because I wanted to sing.
Yeah.
And so I went to his studio.
Could you sing?
I don't know. I don't like to sing, I can.
Yeah.
But I liked to.
Okay.
I loved to sing. And so he's like, okay, sing for me a song. And I and I sang for him a song.
Yeah.
Then I sang another one. And then he didn't get back to me for a long, maybe 3 months or something like that. And in that time, I was in the process of my resignation, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go do my master's in the UK, da da da. And he says, so our lead, I want you to come and sing lead in this band. Can you come to the studio tomorrow? And I'm like, okay. And so I was in a band. And then during that period as well, I started to reconnect with my art. So I paint. I haven't painted in a long time, but I used to paint. So I'd stretch my own canvases and I paint portraits. Like you send me a picture and I paint it. And this was all for fun until a friend of mine who's an interior designer is like, I have a friend who has he's redecorating his house. Can I send you his picture and you paint him and I pay you? I didn't want to do it because I never used to paint men ever. I liked the female as a figure. And then this guy, he had dreadlocks. So I was like, how am I going to paint dreads? And he was standing under a tree and he had glasses. So there was so many shadows. I was like, I don't think I have the skill for this. Anyway, I did it and it came out really well. And that was the first paid painting I had. And then also with the band, we were doing a little bit of gigs here and there. We went to Rwanda. You know, we had little money. So there was some money coming in. And that is where I dived into my creative juices, because I just felt like I'm creative, but not like to do emails all day. Right. You can understand, but I didn't know what to do. And so that's what happened next. And then after that, I went to do my master's, my MA.
So during this period, have you now eaten into your 30K emergency fund?
Aye, that one finished.
That one now is
what
finished.
What do you mean? That one finished. Kabisa.
And
I was literally living month to month. In fact, it was the art that was sustaining
your
me.
folks didn't want to give you any money.
How? Are they going to give me money? And they've taken me to university and I've graduated and they did for me a whole graduation party. And then, you know, my mom was like, painting is a hobby. My dad is like, painting is a hobby. Why can't you paint on Saturday? That's literally what he said. And then I remember even when my uncle Macharia Gaidho, do you guys know Macharia Gaidho? He was abducted by the police. Macharia Gaidho is...
People are asking on Twitter if you're related, actually.
We are. So Uncle Macharia is my uncle. So Uncle Macharia he used to be an artist, by the way, before journalism. He was actually a fine artist. And so when he heard that nimekuwa msanii, he's like, oh, so now you're taking a sabbatical. Again, I went to my dictionary, sabbatical. I didn't know what it meant. So I'm like, I guess I'm taking a sabbatical. He's like, you're taking a sabbatical to become an artist. That's good. I'll introduce you. In fact, I have a friend. His name is Kehos. Kehos has a studio in Banana. I'll introduce you to him, and somewhere in the go down in South Bay. And I remember just feeling so sad about these associations. Like all artists were in this. No one is saying that they're in, Kitisuru or they're it's always like, I'll hook you up with this guy. He does this thing in this underground place. So I was so anxious about this. I was anxious and upset, like at God. I'm like, why are you giving me these gifts and you're not giving me a path to success? And then, and you made sure my life was comfortable before. You know what I mean? Like, I wish I failed all my exams. Hadi, my folks are like, you have no choice but to be an artist. I guess this is your thing. So
at this time in your life, and maybe I should have asked this before actually, your philosophy around money and dating and in your relationship and that not being a factor that you are looking at. So at this point in time in your life, for yourself, is money a thing that you're thinking about as a measure of success for how you're doing in life? Or are you still, trying to live and those are the things you're looking for out of life, so money is not a factor that you're really considering?
No, money was a factor now. As soon as I got out of uni, there's no pocket money anymore because I used to get a pocket money every month. Excuse me. I used to get pocket money every month. Now there's no pocket money because I finished uni and I got a job. So then I've resigned. Yes, I know I'm going to go to school, but like figure your life out. So
so money is a factor.
Money is a factor. In fact, that is the first time in my life that my mental health was challenged. Like I was depressed. As much as I was happy that I was doing this, is because I was depressed because of this space I was in. I'm just like, what is my purpose? What was I made for? What am I here for? And I really did believe in the ideology that if you just take the first step, the rest of the staircase will open or unfold. But in your day-to-day, my dignity was challenged. Because my friends are going to Mercury and I'm like, how am I going to do that math? And That's
now
me.
you are the guy who you don't want to date.
I hadn't even met that guy
No, I'm
yet.
saying, but you are that guy
Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're saying, I don't know how I'm going to make
broke.
money for.
I was broke, yeah. And my friends are
Yeah.
going to work every day, and I knew I was like, this is not the space for me. But then what is?
Yeah.
So I just made an effort to just give it my all. But I wish I had the support that I needed at that point.
Yeah.
You know, like not financial support, just the support that I can do this. It's okay. You know, it's not wrong to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it was all me, and then me being a firstborn.
Yeah.
And coming from a family where there were no creatives per se,
Yeah.
it looked like I was doing something so wrong. So that was another pressure I was feeling. It was
Okay.
a lot for me. It was a tough time.
Yeah.
It was a tough time.
So what was the UK like then for you in finding this space?
The UK was a space for me where I could go back to... I could figure myself out without the pressure of having to perform as an adult. And so I loved it because it gave me that time and that space. But it also liberated me financially because that broke season, I was like, I am never going to be broke like that again. I will never, ever, ever be broke. Like I was like, I'm never going to do that. So the minute I landed in the UK, within 2 weeks, I had an NI number. And that's what allows you to be able to apply for jobs and stuff. So
Yeah.
as much as I was a student,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm getting a job, and I got a job. So I was working while I was in school.
Yeah.
At this time, it was not even about loving your job or what is my purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, I want to go wireless festival in summer. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, I need the money.
Yeah.
I want to wear nice clothes.
So your folks are meeting your cost to a point.
They are meeting my cost to a basic point.
Yeah.
You know, London is not cheap, man.
Yeah.
It's so bloody expensive. So I even remember asking my dad, can you just add me like extra 30-40 pounds for
Yeah.
groceries? Because like I was really,
Yeah.
you know, living, what do you
Well,
call
not
it?
hand to mouth, but like the
It
money.
was hand to mouth. It
Yeah.
was hand to mouth. Like
Yeah.
I was, my life was so budgeted,
Yeah.
you know, and you think about paying for the tube and you think about paying for food and then your social life.
Yeah.
It wasn't cheap. So I decided to get a job. Like whether or not I was like, I'm getting extra
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Especially because I could see my
The expenses.
not my expenses, but like my schedule before I went there. And my cousins who had been there before, my cousin was just like, if you're in London, get a job.
Yeah.
So she really held my hand. She's like, go get an NI number here, go do this, put your application in the job center on this street, because she knew where I lived. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I lived in the UK.
Okay. And then you come back.
And then I come back.
Yeah.
And again, when I come back, I was like, I'm not coming here to go through what I went through the last
Yeah.
time. So I came back already having a job. I applied for jobs when I was in London.
Okay.